Hello, Jeremiah Sirles here. This week on Husker Huddle, we are joined by Husker Blackshirt legend Mo Berry here. He led the team in tackles in 2019, team captain as well, and the heartbeat and the soul of that Husker defense. Mo, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Just got a session in, got some good work this morning, and feeling great.
That's awesome. I wanted to catch up with you, Mo, because your unique story. You've been through, I think, 2 head coaches, 3 defensive coordinators, 2 or 3, I can't remember, and then also you've been through 2 different strength staffs. And I don't think people really understand how hard that is to do as a college player. I was lucky enough, I was with one my entire way through, and that was hard enough. Now that you're out of the Huskers now for about 5 months, have you had a chance to look back, reflect on your career here and kind of what it meant to you and some of the challenges that you went through? I know this is kind of a loaded question, but it's a lot. It's a lot that happened. You went through a lot at the Huskers. I'm just curious if you've had a chance to reflect on that and kind of what your overall thoughts on your career as a Husker were.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, by the way.
Thank you.
I would say, that it has been some, while I was training in Arizona at Exos, I had a lot of time to myself. I was apart from my girl, a lot of my friends, and I was just over there, apartment by myself training. So I had a lot of reflection time. And like you said, I had the time to reflect on my career and all the adversity I faced, all the things that happened, all the good things, everything I love about the university, everything maybe I wish I could change. It was time for me to actually put that together because, I remember after Iowa game, I was defeated in a way because I just, in every way, you start off the season with all this off-season hype and everything looks great. You have a great quarterback that you truly believe in. I still do believe in. You have the defense. You should have so many guys, from every level on your defense that could ball, and this year is going to be a good year for y'all. You have all the pieces. It's year 2 in coaching, and you like, oh yeah, year 2 is always it's some different. It's going to be better. I mean, to have that, expectation, and it was not hype. It was something that many of the guys believed would happen. It was about to be a great year, and you could feel it. And it just, a lot of things didn't go in that way. But to, elaborate, just go with that question you asked about just how, hard it was to go from, Mark to Duvall, strings staff, to Coach Riley, to Coach Frost, to Coach Banker, to Coach Diaco, to Coach, you know what I mean, in defensive, Coach Shenander. So, I mean, it's just, people got to understand, it's way different philosophies in how every head coach and the strength coach work together to create the athlete, how they want the athlete to look, what kind, like, for instance, you would have a coach that, like, their middle linebackers bigger and more stout and more physical, and then you have another one that, like I said, more fast, agile, and better in coverage or something like that. It's different type of systems. It's different type of ways that the coaches want their athletes to look like, to act like, to train like. It's like a different world. So it's not like, it's like you working for a different company and they want you to do different things. So that's basically the same. It's like you have a new boss. Everything is changing. And the thing about that is, just imagine if you're an intern, in college, this is your internship, this is what you are. You're learning the game still. You're developing in your profession, and you're learning a lot of things. And imagine if you have to, I know there's many internships that people do, but just imagine if it's just changing all the time, and the book is changing. The things you're learning about your profession is changing all the time, and you're a young person. So that's why I was. If anyone want to know how that feels, really, it's just like that. It's not something that I give anyone excuse of. It's not. I never felt bad for myself. I just always was like, okay, he want me to be like this. Okay, I gotta transform myself in that way, and that's why I had to do. That's why I told my teammates, uh, just whatever they want us to do, we have to transform so we could fit that mold, so we could get better and be a team sooner than later.
Mo, you were able to have success in almost every scheme. I mean, 3-4, 4-3, back to a 3-4, kind of an underlook. Like, you were able to have success in all of those, and I think that's going to really translate well to your NFL career. But what did you do personally that allowed those things? Like, what was something that you did that maybe other guys didn't do that allowed you to have, it didn't matter what scheme, didn't matter what internship, what book was put in front of you, you were able to have
Hmm.
success. Why was that?
I think first is, you know, is the fundamentals of the game, and I think it's certain things that if you don't have, it don't matter what scheme you're in, you won't succeed. And I would say, just first working harder, and working smarter than anyone else. It's really just finding what is that Mo Berry in 2019 in August. What should he look like? What is he right now? What is he right now? What is he right now? And what he should look like come August, come September the first game in Memorial Stadium, and having a plan to achieve that perfect Mo, or that goal Mo, or what to say. I think that's the most. I think that's the best thing I do. I think I always understand that I'm not the best. I'm not my best self right now, and that I could get better. And whatever my coaches ask me to do, whatever in any way, I develop a plan and I follow it, and I want to transform myself. I want to feel transformed when it comes September, and that's by working hard, dieting. It's by being in the film room, asking questions, annoying questions to the coaches, stuff like that. So you could, when you step on that field, no matter what scheme it is you understand the game, and it's like almost you're looking at your key, and then as soon as that key move, you're like it's like an explosion. That's how it feels. It's just like a whole explosion downhill, and then next thing you know, you're on the backfield. Everything is quiet, and then you make the play, and then you hear the crowd, and it's the best feeling ever.
Mo,
So I think is
I know you
I
haven't
just
started your NFL career yet, man, but I want to let you know, being a guy that's been there for a while, that's the right mindset to have. Though the struggles that you went through with the coach that changed everything is going to prepare you for that NFL journey, and I'm really excited for you. Before we jump into your NFL road and before we jump into what you've been up to these last few months, got to get a little bit of a talk on Husker football here. No spring ball for this team right now,
yeah,
which is going to be really tough for them. But
yeah.
that is a young linebacking core coming back next year. There's some young guys there that are going to have to step up. Who are some guys next year that maybe aren't, I mean, everyone knows Will Honus, everyone knows Colin Miller, but who are some of those up-and-comer guys that, because the spring did get canceled, they're really going to have time to show during fall camp? Who are some guys to keep an eye on this year for that Blackshirt linebacking core?
Like you said, they got Will Honus, they got Colin Miller, and they're gonna do right by that group. Um, you know, it's not a lot of times I've been surprised by players, because I always have I always judge. I'm big in judging the new guys. I'm like, okay, he's gonna be this, he's gonna be that. Luke Reimer to me was interesting. That's the first person that could say I was kind of wrong about. Um, for me, one thing that stood out for me is he works on his own. Like, he didn't need to come to me to get the word. I didn't need to go to him to motivate him. I'm going in the Hawks, and he's working. And he's a guy that showed a lot of potential. Maryland game, we put our young guys out there. He made some good plays. And the person that I know is going to ball as a young guy is Nick Henry. And I say that because how he ate up, or how he just soaked in the knowledge of the playbook coming in his redshirt year, what they call that, early enrollee,
Mm-hmm.
how he just ate up, just soaked in the playbook, was for me was surprising. The last person I've seen do that was Dedrick Young, and he just soaked it in, and it was easy for him. It was something that really, I could have seen him playing that year if he didn't get injured. Definitely, he could have helped us that year if he didn't get injured. So I'll say them two. And I said to many reporters about Garrett, Garrett Snodgrass being a guy like Chris Webber, who
Mm-hmm.
could come in there, develop and contribute someday. Um, is a lot more depth in that linebacker than we know. There's some guys that I didn't see the JUCO guy yet, or is it two JUCO guys? Or
I think so.
um,
Yes.
yeah, I didn't see them, and
Right. That's where, and that's
so
where
I
not
think,
having a spring's really going to hurt.
and that's what I'm saying, and that's people who don't understand. You need that spring, even going from JUCO to NCAA, D1 ball. So I would say it has hurt us, but since we got those key starters in line, I think that's big. That's big. So if we didn't have people with a lot of experience, Colin and Will they have a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really worried about that
No.
inside linebacker group. The other guys gonna come along. They're gonna buy them time to come along, and it's gonna put less pressure on the coaches on that way. Coach Rude, him knowing he got two guys that played a lot of football for him. I just think in the D line, when you look there, is where you need more,
Depth.
experience, and you need depth on a different level. I love how the DB core is looking. They're talented as ever. Q is going to be a real good DB in the future. He got real good hips, fluent, long. We already know about Cam and Deontay. We really missed out on Deontay last year, man.
Yeah, I'm
I
excited
can't.
for him.
When I tell y'all that having him would have been such a big boost for us. He's just a different type of player. He has a different element to our defense, and I knew that he made plays that we just like, oh, what DB? He's a hawk, a ball hawk, and having him, oh man, it would have been great. Big hitter, ball hawk. I'm excited to see what he's gonna do, but. For the inside linebackers, I think having experience established, the starters basically established, is going to help, buy time for the younger guys. I think the JUCO, with two JUCO guys, Nick, and having the other kids is going to help that group.
Absolutely. Let's switch gears on this, Mo, here. Let's go. Let's talk NFL for you. You went down to Exos, trained down there, came back in great shape, had a pro day, had some – your pro day went, I think, pretty well. How do you think you did on your pro day, and what are you going for these next steps now with the university being closed down? You still got to work out. You got to be ready to go to moment's notice. You don't know when the draft's going to be. You don't know any of this is going to go on. But kind of walk us through your process of when you came back for pro day to what you're doing now with, the gyms everywhere being closed down.
Yeah. Pro day for me, at first I didn't think it was the best. But got the numbers, got the feedback back from the scouts. I know I had an interview with some of the reporters before, and I was downing on myself because that's just the guy I am. If I felt like it wasn't good or some of the feedback, I'm not gonna lie to myself and say, oh yeah, it was a good pro day when it wasn't. But 21 in bench, 10-1 broad, which is high numbers in my position. 32 vert. The times I got back from the 40-yard dash wasn't a 4.9, it was a 4.7. And that's when I heard that, I was like, come on, because I didn't run that one time at training. So just getting that, and the biggest thing for me was my position drills. That was a question mark for those scouts. They didn't see a lot of tape, me really pedaling, turning, flipping my hips, and a lot of stuff like that. Met with New England, met with some Bills guys and stuff like that. Your people.
Oh yeah, Bills Mafia, baby.
But the biggest question for them was my hips. In LA, of course. But I felt like that's when I killed that part. That's where I felt the most confident. It made me come out a pro day like, yeah, I did something real good. You know, just all the position drills, like I said, flipping my hips, pass rushing, things like that. Had a great reviews from all of the scouts there, and I did my part in that. So after that is now, you know, I'm happy that's over. The numbers, and don't get it twisted, y'all. I mean, it goes back to your tape. That's
That's a
what
fact.
matters. They regardless if I ran, you know, I didn't think 4.7 was a good time at all. But I don't play football in a 3-point stance. I don't go through three phases of running when I run on that football field. It's only one phase, and that's run fast and attack the ball carrier. So that's what they're looking, and that wasn't a question for me. So I think that's important. But right now, like you said, with all this happening, not having, you know, access to the stadium and stuff like that, I've been blessed. I can't tell you where I'm training because maybe that's gonna get shut down. But just know I'm finding work and I'm training and I'm getting ready. And you know, it's a bad time for a lot of people. And you know, I just feel for the people that was work, living off check by check and stuff like that. And my prayers go for them. And I hope that we can help the the government can help them. And I'm not going to say I could help them because I can't, but I just pray the best for them because I know a lot of people close to me that's going through that. So right now, it's just like I said, just focus on my craft, focusing on my drops, my run fits, stuff like that. I'm just trying to be ahead of the curve. When I come, whatever team I land, I want the coach to be impressed about what kind of athlete, what kind of guy they're getting in their program, and that's what I want. So just staying ahead of the curve, and making sure that I'm the most conditioned when this rookie mini camp whatnot. I want to be sideline to sideline. I want to be asking for more, and that's what I'm training for right now.
Absolutely. Well, Mo, we are excited to follow you, especially being a Husker great that you were. We know that you're going to have continued success as you move forward in the NFL. We thank you for taking the time here on Husker Huddle to join me, and we'll be looking forward in the future, and we'll catch up soon, my friend.
All right, as always, go Big Red.